Hey Stampin' friends, welcome to the Joy of Stamping with Rachel. I'm Rachel Coon and it's Fun Fold Friday. Today I have a really fun Christmas card for you that can be held up or hung up instead of just fold open. Going to hold my flip and we'll get started. All right, sorry about that delay. All right, welcome. You're watching live or watching the replay. Be sure to comment because Funfold Friday cards get sent to the mail to someone who comments on the live or even after live until midnight tonight. I'll check it early tomorrow morning and I'll announce the winner of the card that we're making today. This one is really fun and it was inspired by a card that I received from a friend in the mail who did not make the card, but her card was from Hallmark even. And I was like, oh, I can make something like that. I have things. And this is what was created. So let me show you. This one is a hanging card. So it starts with this as our front. This beautiful wise men and there's lots of gold foiling. And then we turn it and we can start to see our center. And then we have another turn and we have our top. So it's hard to show in the camera view, but there we go. So we have it from the top to the middle to the bottom panels. And the idea is if you wanted to, you can tape this to your door or add a little extra hole in it and you can even hang it. But it is a hanging card and it folds back down to be ready to be sent in an envelope though, just like that. Isn't it awesome? Super fun idea. And this could be done with other shapes. I was playing with circles a second ago and I was getting ready to add one more to make like a snowman card. And again, the circle can hide underneath and then fold back open. Fun idea. And the key to this one are the brads. Stampin' Up! Has round and square brads in black and white in different sizes. Just oodles and oodles of choices. And the brads we use today, I'll take them out now, are just, you can use any of these ones even, but I use, let's see if I can find them, just the little black ones. There's one there. Maybe I'll grab the white ones out instead. So a little black brad right there, and we'll grab another little black brad, or I'll even grab the square ones. We'll do one of each. Perfect. Okay. So this is a stamp set that I used mostly. I went ahead and embossed these 3 images and these 2 sayings with gold embossing powder. Sorry, not that saying, the saying. Sadly, I think this stamp set is retired already. It was while supplies last of this month, and it was in our mini holiday catalog and is now gone. However, the dies are still available and are actually 50% off. So if you like these dies, you can still do something very similar, but just have to use a different stamp set. And then I have the Peaceful Deer in here because I just used the tiniest little piece here, which has like snowflakes / stars is what I thought that one looked like, and we add that to ours as well. All right, I use a lot of different types of dies for today. So like I said, I went ahead and I have these embossed on the Knight of Navy, and I've die cut our 3 wise men out. I even die cut a stitch rectangle, the smallest one, and embossed with the wise men still seek him. And then I use the Stitch So Sweetly dies for this label and have embossed with gold, glory to God in the highest. So those are our Knight of Navy ones. You also will have 3 panels in the Knight of Navy using the largest stitch rectangle to die cut these ones out. Then I've did some die cutting with some of the gold foil. So we have this awesome piece here that we've cut out, the center image there. You save the center piece here and use that to help die cut the little pieces too, because this is full of foil that's still very usable. That's where you can get your cool little city line that I've die cut out. And then also your star and your 2 little plants are all part of those dies. Okay. Lastly, it was this kind of a golden hill that we create for our center panel. What I did for this one is I die cut out first just a tiny bit, like 2 inches by 4¼ is what the measurement of the gold was. And I just did the bottom half with the stitching there. And then I went over the top with the basic border dies that gave like a cool, nice little arch to it to make it more like a hill versus just a straight flat line. All right, let's go ahead and start with our stamping for this guy, and then we need to assemble it with the brads. For this one, I am just using a Versamark. So that's what I use for my ink when I do embossing. And so we're going to use that again to create our snow/stars and our night sky for these wise men. And what I suggest doing, if you don't have this one, you could use Night of Navy, which is just the same color on the same color paper. And this is just going to go super random. There's no rhyme or reason. This is just background stamping. So you can turn them. And I'm going to stamp them almost all over on each one. For the last panel, or the bottom panel is what I'll refer to it as, the one with the 3 wise men, that one could only need to have the top bit because we cover the rest with the awesome gold foil frame. That. Oh yes, Versamark is so fun. And it's great because it honestly takes up the color that you are stamping on. So it's clear, it's a clear ink. It has an extra stick to it though, and that's why we can use it when we're using embossing powder, because we don't want this ink to dry right away. We want it to have some time to be able to shake the powder on, blow off the excess, and heat it up to make it melt. And that's how these images came about. And if you only wanted to do 2 panels instead of the 3, you could condense this design as well. Okay, I think that's it for our stamping. And the rest of it I've already pre-done and heat up. Next, what we need to do is put these all 3 together and grab our foam mat. You can see my foam mat has a holy side and a non-holy side. This is the side I like to use my piercing tools with, and this is the side I usually use to do my stamping on. Then you're going to grab your take a pick tool and open up on this side. This is our putty side. This is our tool side. Our tool side has a sharp pointy edge right there. That's what we're going to use to create our holes for our brads. And what we want to do is to make them be the same spot. So I stacked all 3 pieces of our panels together. I'm going to go to what looks like the center. If I was precise, I could measure it and just go a little bit above where our stitch line is and poke a nice little hole through. You can kind of just push down until it breaks all the way through. Perfect. Then I'm going to take one out. I don't need that one. I'm going to flip one over and I'm going to match it to this one because we will need to have 2 holes on the center panel. There we go. Those holes are ready to go. Now, the tricky part of this is knowing which way you want it to fold and collapse. So I want my front one, this one here, to be the very bottom. So this one is going to be attached here to this one over it. So we'll put our brad through this one, both these holes, and then we'll flip it and open the brad so it stays secured. And then we're going to take this one, and this one's going to go behind this one, the center panel. So put the brad through the hole, one hole, put it through the next one, and then fasten it on there by separating and pushing them so it goes flat, and then test it out before you start gluing things on. So this one would collapse underneath this one, and this one would collapse to the top to be the main image there. And then when we unravel it, one will look upside down as we do so, but it'll be fine when you pull it all out. It'll even itself out. Okay, now that we have our pieces, let's go ahead and start making our seams. So let's add our star to the very top panel with just a little bit of liquid glue. We'll put it right there at the top and get our star. Then we're going to grab our saying that's labeled and been gold embossed, And we're going to add dimensionals to the back of this one. Give this one just a little bit of pop. This card does not have your typical card base where you open it up and there's no scoring. So we can have a little bit of dimension on here. Glory to God in the highest, right there, underneath our star. Kind of like the saying that's going to be said. And then we can add our awesome gold hill. For this one, you want to have it so that your sides are lined up here. Let me show you. So that's why I use that stitch rectangle, so these stitches will continue going on along the side of here, and that we know that it's exact same width as our piece here. For this one, you could just use liquid glue, or you could pop it up if you want. I'm not too picky, so I'm going to just use my liquid glue for this one and slide it as close as I can to that brad. There we go. And that brad on the bottom will make it stop, so it can't go any further after that point. Okay, then let's grab our cute little city here, and we'll put just couples of dots of glue. Don't go crazy because there's windows and the glue will ooze out. We want the city just to be on the hill, and it also has like a natural curve. So I use that to fall along the curve of our hill here. Perfect. And our last panel is our most busiest and fun one, which makes it look like the front of the card as well. So when your friend gets this card, this is what they will see first. So that's why it's the fanciest one. We're going to add dimensionals to the back of our gold frame. Let's put a handful of these ones on. One in each corner at least. Remove the backings and let's attach it over the brad. So we kind of want to hide that brad. So I'm going to put it just about there. Maybe over just a little bit. There we go. Perfect. And you still see the stitching along the outside of this one as well. Love it. Next, let's add our wise men. There's no rhyme or reason to the order, and sometimes you can tell when I don't emboss perfectly, so I will hide his little skirt here. So he'll be my first guy, and we'll just add a little bit of glue to the back of him, and we're going to sneak him underneath, so that way his skirt, or his robe, I should say, is on the bottom there. And we'll lay him flat. Then we're going to grab our last one and do something very similar. Just a little bit of glue and put him underneath or inside the frame. We'll slide him in, push him down. Then this one, we're going to go ahead and grab a dimensional for where his head is. And I'm using a mini dimensional for there. And then we're going to add just a little bit of glue to the bottom of his robe. We just want him to pop up just a tiny bit and be on top of the frame. There you go. That gives a little bit of depth to our design here. Just make sure that dries because you see it will lift up. Or you can even use a glue dot if these holes are giving you too much grief and the glue isn't attaching. All right. Next, we just need our wise men. Still seek him. Put some mini dimensionals on the back of this one. I like at least 3 because it's pretty long. And try to get that mostly center underneath our wise men here. And straight. There we go. Now we can press down. And then lastly, we have these cute little gold leaves that come with the dies for this one, just to embellish a little bit more. And this you could have used a glue dot for, and I did use a glue dot for these ones, but we'll let this one just be some liquid glue. Keep it simple. And there we go. We have this awesome 3-panel card that twists back down. So that way it folds down to the small size here and opens back up so that way you can hang it up wherever you want. I just love this design. I hope you guys did too. This was a fun one to play with and a first time for me. Have a great weekend and happy stamping, everyone. Goodbye.